I wanted to stop with Harry Kane, actually, because there was reports last night that stated that he'd agreed terms with Real Madrid and the deal was happening. 2 hours later, there was more reports from Spain saying Madrid have walked away. He's too expensive. What is the latest with Harry Kane? He's linked to Man United. And if Man United can't get him, what's the alternative for them?
Yeah, honestly, like having Twitter notifications on at the moment on transfer pages from their it's mad. You can go out for like 2 hours, and in the time that you're out, you can see a whole story unfold from like interest rising. It's accelerated. A deal's nearly done. Oh no, it's collapsed. Like I've seen that like 3 times in the last week on various transfers over such a short period of time that it's mad. But look, Harry Kane like leaving Tottenham is extremely unlikely. I think a lot of us are in the situation where we'd like to see Harry Kane leave right now and go and test himself somewhere else and see how Tottenham would cope without him and what they would do to react. But the reality is that Daniel Levy is highly, highly, highly unlikely to allow him to join Man United. Like it's almost impossible that Harry Kane would be allowed to join Man United for a transfer fee now, even with 1 year left. So that's what Man United have to overcome. If they like are adamant that this is the guy, then they've got to go there with an offer that is literally too good to turn down. And that's going to be like, I don't know what Levy would consider too good to turn down. 150 million. I'm speculating right now, but that it's going to have to be stupid. Even then, I still don't think he'd want to do it. So United have to react to that situation. There's an awareness, obviously, that like it was always going to be hard to sign Harry Kane. But you watch the FA Cup final and you see what United are lacking. There's no goal threat in that team. If they have Harry Kane as the focal point in that team, then it's completely different. Like suddenly Man United could have won that FA Cup final. I'm not saying that they were as good as Man City. They're not as good as Man City. But you put Harry Kane into the equation, and they kind of are, because Harry Kane scores 30 goals a season guaranteed, and he just elevates your levels like he has done at Tottenham. So I understand where United are coming from with it. Ten Hag definitely rates him and would definitely like him. I'm told believes that he doesn't see any reason why they wouldn't be able to get him. But then again, he doesn't never had to deal with Daniel Levy season after season after season and understanding how this guy works. What makes it interesting, obviously, is like Real Madrid coming on the scene. Now, they seem, like you say, quite confident that he would be interested in that. And for most players, they are. For most teams, they're kind of willing to sell to Real Madrid because they know that they can get good value for that player, even at a time when their contract is winding down. So think back when, I don't know, when Eden Hazard joined Real Madrid and the amount of money that Chelsea were able to get at that moment in time. It was a great deal still, even though they didn't want to lose him. So that is there. Harry Kane as part of that Real Madrid team would be unbelievable. I'm told that although it's been reported that like Levy would prefer to see him go outside of the Premier League and would be more willing to sell to Real Madrid, I'm told he's got absolutely no interest in selling to Real Madrid. As far as Daniel Levy is concerned, Harry Kane is not for sale. And that's that. There isn't anything to be had in terms of a discussion as far as he's concerned about that. Kane turns 30 this summer. Kane is going, into the final year of his contract. But they're going through, obviously, a period of evolution here. They've brought in a manager that is low profile. There's no doubt about that. They're pretty excited about what could happen here. But if they start next season with Ange Postecoglou, a manager that the fans are hoping is good but don't know, and don't have Harry Kane there, the risk factor for Tottenham's season is like through the roof. And like Daniel Levy cannot risk everything here on losing Kane, having a new manager, having no captain too. Hugo Lloris is going. Kane is the obvious guy that comes in as the captain next season. If he's not there, there's no captain either. So, yeah, I don't see Harry Kane leaving, mate. I really don't, as it stands.
I understand that. I get the rationale of Daniel Levy, but I also think to not get any money for him and to allow him to leave for free a year later, all you're really doing is kicking the can down the road. They're still going to have those problems, I believe, in a year's time. I don't actually think that the signing of Postecoglou is that good. I think he lacks the experience needed. The way I see Spurs fans kind of overhyping it online. It may have been Shakespeare that says it. Is it one does protest too much? it's almost you're making such a this is amazing. It's like, I don't quite believe your excuse me, your hype around that, but I get what you mean with the Kane thing. It's going to be very, very hard if Man United can't get him. We've obviously seen the links to Rasmus Højlund. Is that who you're hearing is the main sort of secondary target, or could there be some other names on the horizon for Man United?
I think you can see that United have two tiers of targets when it comes to fixing this problem. So you've got obviously Kane as like, I'd say he is like the top choice. And then you've got Osimhen and Vlahovic, I think, who come in as top tier strikers on the list. And then below them, I'd say you've got Rasmus Højlund, you've got Randal Kolo Muani, Gonzalo Ramos to some extent, and Lautaro Martinez to some extent as fallback options. And they're all very different, and they're all there's varying degrees of interest in each of those players. But this is the situation United have got, is like, where do they end up landing? So you go through it, and okay, Osimhen, 120, 130 million pound, like highly unlikely to happen. Napoli don't want to sell. Okay, the manager's left, like perhaps the squad comes a bit more unsettled, but still huge investment at the moment, considered unlikely. Vlahovic, let's see who the new manager is and stuff at Juventus, what the season looks like for them going forward. In terms of a transfer fee, I think it's achievable, but big wages. I like Vlahovic. I actually think he would be a good fit if they could do it, but it's very unclear at the moment. Gonzalo Ramos, I think, is huge money for a player that is kind of untested. I mean, from what I understand, like Man United scouts or recruitment staff they kind of split over him. I think some just have this slight fear that it might take a bit too long for him to gel, and I don't think that they can afford, because of the high release clause he's got. I think it might be considered a bit of a gamble. I think that's why everything keeps coming back to Højlund, because there's been informal contact. They understand what the values are going to be around the player. And the style of his play, combined with his growth potential, his age, his adaptability, makes him a really good fit for where United would like to go. So I do think that the Højlund one is very intriguing. I'd say as a real backup option is probably the Lautaro one. I know someone put it to me the other day, and they said, "Oh, look out for Lautaro this summer." And I was like, "Look, Lautaro Martinez gets linked every single summer." Mm-hmm. Or like, if I'm going to write this, like, is there actually a chance this can happen? Like, definitely, like, there is going to be options there for him. There's no guarantees he stays at Inter beyond this season.